All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the webinar today. Going to share with you something that I actually saw, I don't know, a couple, 2-3 weeks ago. And, we always know that certain things do work and some things don't work. And it's a matter of how you put together, the algorithms and how you put together the software and how the developers, put things together to make things work and stay working. And so if you saw the invitation, most of the conversation in that invitation is what we're going to talk about today. And today I've got John and Chris with us, and they have been in this space many years, longer than I and Gary have, as developers, and have created some really crazy things over the course of the years that work. So we're not having anybody that is going to share with you an idea today. What if you could do this? What if you could do that? We're actually blessed to have the gentleman who came up with the idea and have worked that idea over the last few years to perfect it, and are the developers on the process that you're going to hear and see today. So I'm not going to get into a lot of it. You kind of got a gist of it from the email, but Chris is here and John is here, and we're going to just roll this over to them and let them go. But I will say this: I was on this same call about 2 weeks ago, through another party, and it really blew my mind. I really got excited about it, and I've already implemented this process myself, and it's already paying off. So as a testimony to listening to what they have to say, be intent with what you're hearing, and know that it can and does work. So with that being said, I will let and roll this over to whoever's going to, is it going to be Chris that presents or John? So John, take it. If you're going to present, take it away.
All right. Okay. Let me share my screen here, get my presentation up. My apologies. My computer stopped working on me there. I had to restart.
Oh, was that it? Okay.
Yeah. So I got kicked out there momentarily.
Well, if you can see by the color of our hair and the wrinkles on our face, we're not newbie guys that are just, sending warrior form crap all the time. We actually dig into what we do. We enjoy what we do, and we build good stuff that works. So let's take a listen. Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right, here we go. Hopefully you guys can see that and hear me and all of that good stuff.
I can see you and hear you, sir.
All right, cool. Well, hey, we're going to be talking about what we have discovered. Chris and I, we've been in the SEO business a very long time. You probably got that. And we've discovered some interesting stuff throughout the years about how Google moves and shifts and what they're actually up to today. And that's what we're going to kind of get into here. You guys probably know this, but high search volume keywords, especially money keywords, are worth a lot of money. These are what we call buyer keywords. It's the keywords that people actually type in when they're ready to purchase something. A lot of people make the mistake of going after generic keywords, and those are first-time searches. It's not the buying searches. So we're going to be talking a lot about buyer keywords today, how difficult they are to get ranked, and how we figured out how to do it very easily. So, few people at this point know how to do this, but, we do, and also our students do, because we've taught a lot of people how to do this, how to rank these buyer keywords. And that's what we're going to get into here. This is one of our students, Andrew, and he said he had a client. He does client work. He had a client with no first page rankings. All of the rankings were on like second and third page. And he said now all of their keywords are in the top 10 on the first page of Google. So he was pretty excited when he used what I'm going to share with you guys today and got those results. Here is a local listing for a computer technician a computer network technician training, San Diego. And notice that's a long tail keyword. That's a buyer keyword. When somebody types that in, they know exactly what they want, and they've got credit card in hand and they're ready to buy it. And these guys were on page 5 of Google. And when they first started using this technique, they actually dropped, which is pretty natural. If you've been doing SEO for any length of time, you'll notice this. It's actually part of Google's patent. They drop you in the ranking when something changes. And they do that to see if you alter course or if it's actually natural. And if you hold the course, usually you pop right up to the top, you'll bounce around, and then you wind up sticking if you're good enough. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about today is, user signals. Google is figuring out how to value these sites. So here's another one. Here's the same pattern. It actually went up at first, then it dropped, then it went up, and then it dropped again. Be very, very aware of this if you're doing any kind of SEO, that Google will naturally drop you just to see if you alter course. It's important that you do not. So this is cheap dedicated server hosting. Now that's again a very specific buyer type keyword that was able to lock in a top position on page 1 of Google. Here's another one, emergency dentist, same pattern, a little bit of a drop, up, bounced around, and then locked in. Emergency dentist, that's kind of a generic even type of term. These guys were getting a lot of local listings, so this was just one of their terms. Here's another examples of cosmetic dentists. We have a lot of our customers, a lot of our students, they run agencies and they do a lot of work with local companies. So we have a ton of stuff on dentists and chiropractors and all the local businesses. So here's one, bikini waxing, Point Loma. Again, pretty specific, geolocated, and same pattern, a drop, up, bounce around, stick to the top. That's very, very typical. And here is more just, we've got tons and tons of examples of how this works. And here's another one. A lot of people say, does it work on national? And it absolutely does. It works the very same. And you'll see the same pattern. It actually bounced around toward the lower end for quite a while before it bounced up and stuck at the top. But this is a keyword, profitable investing. So you might wonder, you've noticed a lot of, it's much more difficult to do SEO these days. And you might be wondering why. Again, this is just more national listings. But here's what happened. Let's talk about what happened that really destroyed the traditional SEO. We used to do SEO based on page and off page, and that was pretty much it. But then the thing came through called Rankbrain, and it really kind of threw everybody on their ear, and nobody really knew what was going on with it. The first guy to really get a handle on it was Fishkin. And he proved that user signals would affect rank. And he did a little search testing out navigational searches. And he called on his huge audience. He had a huge Twitter following. And he got everybody to run a particular keyword that was IMEC Lab. And that was a page he just put up. It was optimized, and it was on number 7 on page 1 of Google. Notice the timestamp at 6:03 p.m. He had all of his users on Twitter go ahead and type that in, scroll to his Moz listing and click on it. And you'll notice from 6:03 to 9:01, so roughly 3 hours, it pushed that listing from the bottom of page 1 to the top of page 1. And that right there was proof in the pudding. And this happened, several years back. It was when Rankbrain was first coming out. Nobody really understood it. But that got us onto this whole thing of user experience and really digging in and figuring out, what this was. And it was artificial intelligence. It's Google had created an AI system to figure out what content was good. And they called it Rankbrain. And I remember there was so much speculation in the SEO world of what Rankbrain was, and nobody knew it was AI. So what I'm going to show you how we use the AI to easily rank by our keywords. If you understand the game, it's so much easier to do SEO and manipulate the results and get the desired outcome that you want. And when you do this the way I'm going to show you, there's absolutely no fear of penalty. There's no, it's not black hat in any way. It's actually real user signals will get this job done. And the particular strategy, we've developed an actual strategy and software around it to automate it. And we can show you how to train Rankbrain with 2 minutes of work. That's about it. It takes about 2 minutes to set it up, and then it's implemented, and you can get these types of results that we're showing you here. So the guys behind it, this is me, John Limbacher, and we've also got Chris Ormiston on today with us. We've both been doing SEO since before it had a name. They didn't even know what to call it when we started. Chris actually did some work with Google in some of their initial algorithms and actually figuring out, how to set that thing up. I'll let him talk about that here in a minute. Here's some of his client list. Chris, are you with us here?
I'm with you.
Awesome. You want to kind of give them a little of the details there about your background?
Yeah, you bet. It's great to be with you guys today. So early on, I was able to work with Google directly to help them develop their algorithms. I was with them for about a year or so, and we did a lot of fun stuff back and forth. And then after we broke away from that and went off and started building our agency, we started bringing on larger customers, many of them that, like you see right here, Virgin, Hurley, Nike, Asics, Coleman, many other. We worked with Microsoft and a lot of big companies out there. And it's been a fun ride, but being able to be on the inside, to be able to see how the algorithms were built, gave us a huge advantage to be able to see that, especially in the beginning when there's a lot of mystery behind it and misunderstandings and misinterpretations as far as like how it worked and things like that. So yeah, so John and I, we've been in it from the very beginning. It's been fun.
Here's another thing that Chris discovered about the autocomplete. This is one of his clients with the wrestling shoes, and go ahead and tell him about that one.
Yeah. So Asics came to us at a corporate level, and they basically said, "Hey, we're having a hard time moving our wrestling shoes. Is there something, we've heard about you from some different people, and we'd like to see what you can do to help us out." So we engaged with them, and in fact, if you guys want to even try it, it's probably still up. If you just type in wrestling shoes, you'll see Asics still in the list of the autocomplete now. But we did this almost 5 years ago, and we were able to rank for about 20 plus keywords for them, not just wrestling shoes, but men's running shoes, women's running shoes, tennis shoes, golf shoes, just a lot of different shoes that they were promoting. And we were able to do some fun stuff with them, and we crushed it for them. So it was a fun little project.
Awesome. So let's get into, like cracking the Google patent code. And this is what we do. We kind of look at things from different angles than most people. Most people go and they'll try something, they'll get penalized, they'll go, "Oh, well, that didn't work." We would rather actually dig in and look at what's under the hood and figure out what makes the watch tick, and then go at it from that perspective. And what we found by looking at the very advanced algorithm here was they were basing it on natural language patterns. The AI, this is what the AI is all about. It's looking for natural language patterns to show a good user experience. Google wants to display good content. That's what they're all about. They're all about advertisers. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Google isn't really a search engine. The search engine's kind of like their front-end lead magnet to get you in. But their real business is selling ads. They make zero money off of search results. Where they make their money is off advertisers. And if they don't provide good results on the search, they lose the eyeballs that makes them the money. So they are desperately trying to figure out how to provide a good user experience. And they discovered something that was ingenious, and it's so basic. It's looking at what real people like and giving it to them. So natural language patterns, again, this is what it's all about. And what natural language patterns does for Google is it shows them the real user search behavior, and it shows the user's intent. It also gives them a way to gauge popularity via search results versus links the way we used to do it. Linking was a very easy system to game, and so is on page. And that's why they needed a third factor, and they are using AI to get it. It shows them who belongs at the top. User signals show them who belongs at the top from these natural language patterns. And the thing about it, from a Google perspective, when you look at this through their window, it can't be manipulated like linking until what we figured out. So it is absolutely true. These natural language patterns are influencing Google's algorithm in a very, very big way. In fact, it's not just Google. Everyone else followed suit. All the other major search engines are doing the same thing. And we found that what works on Google also works on them, which is really cool. So as you know, on page and off page authority backlinks is what we used to lean on for 100% of our SEO. Well, now you've got this third piece to the puzzle. And, originally we thought it was a third, but in talking to Chris about this, we're thinking it's bigger than that. Now, don't get me wrong, you still need traditional SEO to get ranking. You need on-page optimization. Your page has to be coded properly, and you need some authority backlinks. That's just a given. But if you want to go to the top and stay there, you are not going to be able to do it in this day and age without natural language patterns, whether you've gotten them naturally or whether you got them a little bit manipulated. One way or another, you're not going to hold a top ranking without all three of these pieces to the puzzle. And this is why SEO is so hard, because as you know, the first two we can control. The third one, very hard to control, the user signal. So it winds up feeling like you're pushing a boulder up a hill. You're doing everything you can, you're doing everything right, and you're still getting squashed. So that's why this SEO is about to get a whole lot easier. I'm going to show you these 5 new NLP triggers that make up, and again, I think it's more than a third of the Rankbrain algorithm. So here's the 5 triggers that we've discovered are super powerful. First one is searches being done on mobile devices. Google has figured out that is a very natural language pattern for that to be happening. They also found that proximity search is another natural language pattern. And what I mean by proximity search is Google knows where every business is, right? They figured that out. Whether you tell them or not, they figure out where that business is. And even if it's a home business or whatever, they know the general location of it. And if you've got users in the proximity that are running searches in a higher level than in other proximities, and it doesn't have to be exact. I mean, we're not talking within 500 feet here. We're talking about, within, say, 10 to 50 miles. It could be that far out. Google expects to see more local proximity search than, say, searches out of other countries, right? If you're a local business and you've got a whole bunch of signals coming from other countries, that might not make sense. Now, that said, it does make sense for some searches to come to you from far away because people travel and, they do searches on places they're going to visit. So it's not totally unnatural, but what I'm talking about here is the percentages. There's a lot of people trying to do this sort of thing and trying to game the system using offshore people, and that doesn't work. So proximity search is very important. So is navigational searches. And navigational searches is like kind of like what I was talking about earlier, those long tail buyer type keywords. Because remember, the search patterns from the users show intent. If you've got a high intent of people that want to buy stuff, guess what? Google is going to send you buyers. They know who they are. So you're going to get huge bang for your buck out of doing the navigational searches. Another one is brand search. This is a trigger that has made things totally unfair to the little guy. You'll notice if you run a search for almost anything right now, you're going to notice big brands dominating the top. It's because the Google AI, the NLP trigger for brand search, has become very important in Google's eyes. They think if nobody knows your brand, if no one else cares, why should they? So that makes it incredibly unfair to the little guy. And the biggest one of all is revised searches combining the brand. What that is, they call that pogo sticking in a lot of areas, where you bounce to one site, you bounce off it, you bounce to another site. Finally, you figure out what you want. And Google pays very close attention to pogo sticking because that tells them what the users want. The final thing they land on is what they actually were looking for. So Google's trying to get you there quicker. And Google, it pays a lot of attention to this particular signal, especially when it happens on its own property. So if somebody runs a search and they don't click through anything and they go back and they revise the search, that is training the Rankbrain algorithm that, hey, this is what we were looking for. We're being specific now. Google sees that, it figures out, okay, the next person that looks for that, I know what they want. Let me just display the right site here. When you do this right, it creates massive trust in top Google rankings all over. And the reason that I put all the boats there is it's like the tide. When the tide rises, all the ships increase. They all rise with the tide. It's the same thing with your keywords. If you create trust in Google, it's not just going to raise the keywords you're optimized for, it's going to raise a whole bunch of other keywords with it. And we know this because when we first started doing this, one of our customers, he sent me this email and I was kind of scared. I was like, oh no, what did we do? And he said, please excuse my language, but holy shit, are you guys responsible for this? And you can imagine my heart about stopped. I'm like, oh God, what happened? And he says, I'm hoping my rank tracker software isn't malfunctioning. And then I was a little relieved with the LOL. Next, I opened his email and he's showing me these results. And this, he says, is all new listings in the top 50 of Google in the last 30 days. Now, he was using our technique on about 7 keywords, but he's literally got hundreds of keywords that it pushed to the top, just like the rising tide raises the ships. The rising tide of your authority raises all of your keywords, including some that you're not even trying for. So, I mean, it wasn't just this page, it was a second page and a third page. And it just seemed to go on and on and on of all these keywords that he was now ranking in the top 10. So that I thought was pretty cool. And that is absolutely proof in the pudding that when you get a bunch of users sending the right signals and you're creating these natural language patterns, that it's going to give you top listings. It's going to give you more traffic, more leads, more sales, and more profits. It's going to basically just push your website to the top. Now, you can imagine that that would be a little difficult to get people to do this, right? And that's what we found. So we went ahead and we built a machine, and it's called SitePop. And I'm going to get into how it works, what it does. Like I said, it takes about 2 minutes to make this thing work. It's amazing how simple that we've created it and made it. And Chris has done some magic on the back end with his development team on actually bringing this thing to life. So let's get into it here. It provides all 5 of those crucial NLP triggers that we just talked about. And again, I think it's more than a third of the algorithm. This is the only tool that's out there that addresses these particular signals. There's some other tools on the market that are way behind what we're doing. And we were there first too. We were doing the same thing they were doing. And about 2 or 3 years ago, we noticed our results started to slow down. So that's when we moved in. We looked at the new Google algorithm, the new patents, and that's where we figured out the NLP triggers. And that's what is built into SitePop. That's what makes it so effective. And we've got users all over the country. We've got users all over the world. And this screenshot was taken from like 2 years ago when we first started populating the network. If I gave you a screenshot now, you wouldn't be able to see the globe. It's just clients everywhere. When you join the network, what happens is it's real users that make up the network. So every one of our students, every one of our customers is required to use their own phones, their own apps, their own desktops to run our apps on, so we can use their devices to create these signals for them. Now, the signals that they get to benefit from the entire network. It's not just the signals coming off their own phones. Their phones become part of the network, and they get search signals from the entire network, not just their own devices. So it's a collective, collaborative thing that we've put together. And each cell phone, and again, it's totally under the radar. It's totally natural. Each cell phone or computer, which we call devices, each one runs approximately 17 searches per day. So it's not like you got, any devices running crazy amounts of searches. It's all very natural. It looks exactly like what a real user would do, and it gets us through the filters. It's not black hat. It's real user devices. It's not some phony proxies or, any of the other crap that a lot of people are using. This is real. This is the real deal. It runs those proximity searches, does it in concentric circles. It looks for the home port of the website that it's promoting. And it looks for the devices, the users that are closest to it, and it hits them with those first. And then it moves out onto the network. And like I said, we've got a worldwide network of these devices out there that can send these signals for you. And it does make sense for signals to come to your website from all over the world. Websites are worldwide available, but Google likes to see the most of your activity from close proximity. So we actually do that. Also, we're not doing this at crazy hours during the middle of the night. We've naturally patterned this off of real users. So everything about it is completely organic and natural. And it's like if you could get, hundreds of your closest friends to do this for you and sit down at their computers and their cell phones and run searches and click to your site and send these signals, you'd have it made. But I don't know about you, but I don't know that many friends that are going to do that for me on a day-to-day basis. So that's why it's so important to be able to automate this process and make it sustainable and dependable. And, when you do, these are the results that you get. Again, this is local listings for Living Will and Longmont. And again, notice the patterns. They go up and down, and then they pop to the top, and they usually stick there. But this is best facials for acne, San Diego. Again, buyer keywords, orthodontist, Valencia, California. This one's e-commerce. This works for all kinds of keywords, guys. It works for national, it works for local, it works for e-commerce, it works for all of them. Duramax power steering lines. That, again, that's a buyer keyword in the e-commerce world. Here's chiropractors. I said we have a lot of chiropractors, a lot of dentists. Wayne Connect national listing for electronics products. Here's one. This one actually shocked even me. This is for the keyword mesothelioma symptoms. Talk about a high-end national keyword. They were on page 11 of Google after 2 or 3 years of SEO. They fought tooth and nail for years to get onto page 11. And what we shared with them, and they followed our training, they used our tool, it was able to pop them to the top and stick them for that keyword. It also did the same thing for this one, mesothelioma prognosis. You talk about a buyer keyword. These are high dollar keywords. If you were to do pay-per-click for these, they're in the hundreds of dollars a click. It's crazy. So let's talk a little bit about how it works, how these signals are actually formed. A user performs a search for your keyword. It scrolls the search results looking for your domain. If it doesn't find you in the first 5 pages, we randomize how many pages deep it'll go. But if it doesn't find you in up to 5 pages, then what it does, it pogo sticks, it bounces back to Google search and it revises the search, adding your brand. Now, the reason that this is important is it shows Google that the user didn't find what they were looking for. And Google hates this. They hate a bad user experience, especially when it comes from themselves. And that's exactly what this particular signal shows them. It's training Rankbrain. So once they do that, it changes up, adds your brand to your keyword. Generally, you're going to come up number 1. When you add your brand to your keyword, there's not very many competition for that. So nobody's competing on that level. So your site pops up to the top. Now our user clicks on it. They visit your site and they spend time on several randomized pages out of your site, ultimately landing on your contact page and staying there for anywhere from 1 to 4 minutes. And then here's the important part. It closes the browser session. By closing the session, that shows Google that you got exactly what you were looking for. And that's what Google absolutely loves. So that's how it works. Here is some key features of it. It ranks what we call traction keywords super fast. If you're doing this, if you're using SitePop or you're using anything in SEO, don't try and rank for keywords that are impossible. Don't try and rank for keywords that Google doesn't recognize you for already. Go with the flow, train them, and then bring up your more difficult keywords first. We teach you this inside of our training, how to find and use these traction keywords to get fast results. And remember that dentist, the one that had all those different listings after 30 days, that's what he did. He used traction keywords to get those results. And we teach you how to do that inside of our training that comes along with the SitePop software. This will keep customers. If you're doing client work, this will keep your customers forever, not just longer. It'll keep them forever. Another key feature is it's fully automated. This is once you set it up, it takes a couple minutes to set up a campaign, and then it pretty much just runs. We have a white label version on our higher end model that's made for agencies. And I'll talk about that in a minute. It's also got real-time reporting. You can actually see the results right on your device, right on your phone or right on your desktop, whichever one you have the app plugged into. You can see the real-time reporting of where your keywords are ranking. This is based on where other users in the network are finding them on their devices. And you have full control over your campaigns. You can change your keywords whenever you want. You can start and stop a campaign. You can kill one off, add a new one. You're totally free, full control over your campaigns, 100%. Now, we'll talk about this. Whether you call it a campaign or a project or whatever, it doesn't matter. What that is, it consists of one domain. You can add multiple different brand variations, whatever you are known for specifically. The brand variations are added to the keywords when the keywords are not found. You can put up to 12 keywords in there. Now, for any given project, 12 might not be the right number. You might want to use less, and we cover that in our training on different projects. How many keywords is appropriate to get started has a lot to do with a lot of other factors that we cover pretty extensively in the training sessions. And then once you set the campaign up, you get a project code. That's what you enter onto your device, onto either your desktop or your Android phone or your tablet. And that basically connects that device to our network so you can start getting your search signals. And the connected devices, that's basically your cell phones, your Android devices in general, or we also have it for Mac computers and PC desktop, Windows 10 and newer. So that's pretty much it. Each device that you connect, that's going to generate roughly 250 searches per month for you. We recommend that you connect 2 different devices to each project so you can get 500. We found that's kind of the sweet spot. When you can get 500 searches a month, going in and training Rankbrain that your site belongs to the top for a particular set of keywords, that is what we have found to move the needle the quickest, the fastest. Now, there's a lot of different cases where that might not be enough for you. You might need, and that's all covered in the training. So just like SEO, every project is a little bit different. So we'll cover that fully for you. But anyway, each device you connect, you get about 250 searches per month for that domain. Now, setting up a project, super simple. You just give the project a name. You put in the URL, the domain of the site. You put in the URL of the contact page. You can put up to, like I said, up to 12 keywords. It's important that you don't put them comma separated. You put them in one at a time. There's an add keyword button here. So you put one keyword in, and then if you want another one, you click add keyword. Same thing with the company name or brand. You put one in, and if you have another one, you hit add company name. So super simple to set this thing up. And then you put in the address. Now, I know some people have a hesitation to put in their address because they're running home businesses. All you have to do is just put the city. If you just put the city in, it will geo-target the center of the city and it will look for the devices closest. That's perfectly fine. It will grab the latitude, longitude, and the zone on its own. You just put the address in there and hit save details and you are good to go. That is all there is really to set this up. I mean, we're talking super simple. It literally takes about 2 minutes. And then once it's set up, like I said, it gives you the project code. You plug that into your device. You add our app to your device, whether it be an Android phone, Windows desktop, or a Mac computer, and it asks you for the project code. You plug it in and away you go. It is literally just that simple. Now, all the searches are done in the back end. Nobody sees what's going on. It's all just automated. There's nothing for you really to do other than sit back, let it happen, check your results from time to time, and enjoy the results of top search listings. So here's what the app looks like. We actually call it Marketing Assistant. So it's generic, it's white labeled. We don't have site pop on it anywhere. So if you're using it for clients, they won't know what it is. They just know it's Marketing Assistant. It's kind of generic. And if you're running the agency, it'll actually have your agency details down here. So your client will see your agency in there and they'll see their keywords and their Google rank on there. So it is white labeled for the agency version. Now, people that this will actually benefit is just about everybody. Site owners that want to rank, affiliate marketers that want to rank. We have a lot of affiliate guys that say, hey, can we use it for affiliate? I'm like, if you're using websites and you want to rank them, then yes, it works for affiliate marketing. SEO guys that want an easy button. And again, I don't want to mislead anybody. This is not a one size fits all. This is not like a magic bullet that you don't have to do anything else and this is just going to work. You still need to do your on-page optimization. You still need to get a handful of good authority links coming into the site. And if you do all the right stuff and it still doesn't work, then this is your easy button. So SEO guys that are fighting tooth and nail and not getting anywhere, this is the easy button for them. Anybody that wants a low cost, high profit business, you can do this for other companies. There's a lot of people that are paying a ton of money for SEO guys right now, and they're not getting the results that they want. You can come in and say, hey, I've got a low cost service I can add on top of your SEO that'll actually make it work. And it's a huge door opener. I talk about that in our agency training of how to get business with this like crazy. And if you are an agency and you want a competitive edge, then this is basically it. So I don't know of anybody that has an online presence that would not benefit from this. So here's what you just imagine: being able to control the traffic on Google, being able to compete with major brands. That's a big deal right now because they dominate the top. If you can't compete with them, how are you going to win? This levels the playing field on that. Having something that no one else has and getting sites to rank when no one else can. And you can't get this anywhere else. This is it. We are the providers of the service, that you can't get this anywhere else. And here's the big question everybody keeps coming back to: does it really work? It sounds too good to be true. Guys, we wouldn't have all the proof, all the case studies, all the testimonials of all these people if it didn't work. This is Mango Branding. They got immediate increased traffic to our website after starting to use SitePop. Would recommend to any business. Here's one of our original beta testers. Says moved to the first page 2 to 4 for multiple keywords. And another thing, it also increased GMB rankings. The 3-pack increased in the rank as well. When you do this, if you have a GMB listing that is attached to the website that you're promoting, it's going to get a boost out of this too. So, and there's just one after another of people emailing in, loving the results of this thing. So there, and here's another thing, you're probably wondering, do I really need this, or can I do this on my own? There have been some people that go and use micro workers, and we actually did this to do our initial testing many, many years ago. And I got to tell you, hiring 500 people to do a micro project for like 25 cents a piece, that's about what it costs. If you hired these guys, the micro workers in India, you would pay about 25 cents each for them to run these searches for you. So for you to get 500 of them from micro workers in India, it would cost you about $125 a month for each of your projects. And that's the cheap part. The time it would take you to manage this is where you would go broke, because trying to figure out if they'd actually done it and stay on top of that and paying them and all of that, it'd be a nightmare. So what if I told you we can do the 500 searches a month for under $10 and automate the process? That's what we can do with SitePop. That is basically what we're doing here. And we've put a special deal together for you guys. Normally it is considerably more than that. But what we've done, we've got our pro version, which is right for most people. It will give you 10 projects. So you can do 10 projects. We normally charge $297 a month for that. And we're doing beta pricing here again, because in a minute, I'm going to tell you why we're doing beta pricing again. We've been out of beta for a while, but we've just moved back into it. And you're going to love the reason we moved back into it. But anyway, beta pricing is $97 a month. And another bonus here is you get to lock that lifetime price in. That is, we're never going to raise the price on you. It's just $97 a month. So you're getting 10 projects. So it's under $10 per project to get 500 searches a month. And you can move the needle really, really well with that on 10 different projects. So we've also, and I'll talk about the agency a little more in a minute, but the agency is just like the steroids version of that. It's 50 projects. You've got resell rights for it. So you can actually run it as a service under your agency, white labeled and all that good stuff. And it's $197 a month for 50 projects. That's like $4 a piece for something you can sell for hundreds of dollars every month, month after month. Anybody that knows this is for you and you want to just go get it, go to site-pop.com/Patrick, and you'll come up with this special pricing. This is only good up through Saturday night at midnight. And then we're going back to the regular pricing. It's $297 a month or $497 a month. So it's an incredible discount. It's an incredible value. But let me tell you what else you guys are going to get. And this is why we're in beta. The first huge massive bonus that we've got is we have just extended this onto the other platforms. Remember, I talked about earlier that everyone else is following suit with Google. Well, we found that we can run these same search signals on Bing, Amazon, YouTube, and GMB sites. And we've just increased our functionality to cover all of them. And you guys are going to get all of them. You don't just get the Google. You're going to get all the beta platforms. You get to keep them all. You get to lock in the price. We're never going to raise the price on you. After we roll this out of beta, we're probably going to be charging that for each one of these platforms individually. People will be buying the one that they want, and that's the one that they get. You guys are going to get all of them. So when you go into the software, you will actually select the type of platform you want. If you want to do a Google project, a Bing project, an Amazon, a YouTube, or a GMB. So you remember, on the pro version, you get 10 projects. So if you had 2 different sites, you could run one of these on each one of them, because you got 5 different platforms here. Don't discount Bing either. If you guys are not optimizing for Bing, you're missing a lot of traffic. If you've got Amazon products, this will push your Amazon products to the top. If you've got YouTube videos, same thing. There's another bonus here that I have not mentioned, but anybody that jumps in on this right now, if you get your projects up and running and you're willing to send us your results, send us positive results that we can use in our next presentations, I'll actually give you a free month of service. We will extend out your next payment date for a month, so you get an extra free month of service. All you have to do is send us a testimonial with your results. It doesn't matter which platform it is. We would really like to get some for the GMB, which is a brand new one. We just rolled that out. We have some results now for Amazon and YouTube. This is recent. This is just like a week ago off of YouTube. Client took 3 days, went from page 12 to number 1 on real estate postcard marketing program. I was like, wow, it really does work on YouTube. That is awesome. It also does the autocomplete on YouTube also. So when you start training it, when you start running searches in here, it will actually give you the drop-down results here, the recommended searches. That is huge for a lot of businesses. So it's not just on Google, it works on YouTube as well. Here is a YouTube result. ERC tax refund took their YouTube video from page 23 up to page 1. And this is recent. They started this May 31st, 2022. And by the 2nd of June, it was up to number 1. That is pretty cool, pretty awesome. Here's another one. Same thing. Which mascara is cruelty-free? That again is a serious buyer keyword. People that know what they want to that extent are ready to buy it. Here's another one. This is another YouTube. Motivational speech. From page 6, took a little drop and then went to page 1. Motivational speech for success in life was the actual keyword there. Here's one. Here's a product. This is an e-commerce Test-a-Boost. And so they're doing this in YouTube to promote products. Here's another one. Same product, Test-a-Boost ingredients. Here's buy Test-a-Boost. Same thing. Buyer keywords. Here's a Medicaid dental. They were using 6 keywords here and did a pretty good job of pushing them all up and also sticking them. A couple of their keywords were already up close to the top, but it wound up sticking them there, which is really important. Here's recruiter near me. Again, two different keywords, where to find a recruiter and recruiter near me. Same results, pushing them right to the top. This I thought was absolutely awesome. Tony sent me an email on this. I didn't even know him. He bought us off a webinar and he sent this to me like, a couple months after. And he says, I got involved with SitePop approximately 2 months ago, have my first couple of clients, and then notice that gave notice today on my dead end job. And I'm starting next week, full-time marketing. This guy is like over the moon happy. And I was just like, wow, that is freaking awesome. So here is Amazon results. And this is something that Chris did playing around with us. And it was right before Halloween that he did this. And this was a product that he actually uses. And it was down like 3 pages and he kept getting sick of having to scroll through to find what he wanted. So he thought, hell, I'm just going to boost this to the top, and it worked. So we wound up creating a one for Amazon. So you guys could use this on Amazon listings as well. So really cool stuff. Here's some Amazon results. Eva foam and cosplay craft foam, which was the stuff that he was buying. So the company didn't even know he was doing this. I'm sure they had a fabulous Halloween this year because of that, though. Here's another one. This is a client of mine. He makes UV umbrellas, vented golf umbrellas, and he was having a lot of trouble on Amazon getting his products up to the top until he used this. Here's another one, Amazon for DC shunts. That's some kind of an electronic product. Here's one for cannabis containers, weed containers, I believe is the same thing. Realtor gifts. They did this right around Christmas time. This was the test. Heart Christmas ornaments was this. This was the keyword here. Irish ornaments, same thing. This was a company that sells ornaments during Christmas time. So massive bonus number 2. This is the user case studies, and this is done in a webinar format. We've got several of these on the site already, and we do these quite often. We'll do webinars where we actually share results of how people are getting the best results, because we can see the results across the whole platform. And then we can go in, we can analyze what they're doing, and we share those strategies with all of our users. So it's not like you're out in the dark, trying to figure out what's going on. We're analyzing all these results to help you move forward and help you get the results that you're looking for. So number 3, this is a bonus for agencies only. And like I had mentioned, it's white labeled. And we also have a Kartra funnel template. If you've got Kartra, I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's almost like an Infusionsoft type of product, or like a ClickFunnels type thing. We've built a funnel template that you can import right into your Kartra account if you want to do that, or you can just copy it. You can simply copy it into a WordPress site if you wanted to do that. But it's a sales funnel to sell it to retail customers. So this is what agencies use. I've also got a full training on that inside the members area. for our agency version users. And it shows how I've been able to successfully sell this from stage to different industries. It makes a fantastic door opener. And it's a product that it literally costs you $4 a month to run the service. And you can charge $100, $200, $300. It's massive, massive profit in selling this. And it's super simple to sell. So we've added that agency secret sales training. That's how I do it, how I've done it. Been very successful selling this. It's very simple to do. So let's see, what else do we got? Here's an agency owner. We were able to snag 2 top 10 rankings within 2 weeks for our first client. Not too shabby. That's from Andrew. Here's more, just different agencies that are using it. Some of them need to upgrade. Some of them, they run out. 50 projects is not enough. And then the other thing that we do, there's certain clients that just don't want to run this on their own devices. So what you can do, you can go and you can buy cheap cell phones and you can charge your customers for this, to run this for them. And I know in my office, I've got these little power banks that I plug all the phones into, so I can run these for my clients. And again, in the training, we show you how to do that. We give you the links in Amazon if you want to buy the bank chargers like this. Pretty cool stuff. But again, the pro version, depends on what kind of business you're in, on which one of these makes the most sense. But if you're in anything at all to do with the internet, and you've got any kind of websites, and I don't care if it's your own website, an affiliate website, a YouTube program, Amazon, you really need top listings. You need Google's traffic. You need the traffic off these major platforms. And this is the only way that you're going to get it. I mean, SEO, everybody's saying it's dead. They just don't understand how it works anymore. They don't understand the third piece to the puzzle. It's the hardest piece to get, and we're handing it to you on a silver platter. The other two are easy. If you haven't been in SEO, we've got some training in there too about, what it takes, on-page optimization, link building. I talked to Chris about this morning, and a lot of people don't know where to get good links. So we're going to actually put a resource guide together for you guys and show you, the best places to get links, the kind of links that you need too, not bogus garbage links. Those don't work anymore. The links that actually work are links that drive traffic, again, because of the NLP, the natural language patterns. Google understands bogus links. If you've got 10,000 links pointed to your site and there's no traffic coming across them, Google's Rankbrain has figured that out. It's discounted all those links. Those links are garbage. They're worthless. They're not going to do anything for you. You need real links, you need on-page optimization, and you need search signals if you want to rank and you want to get that traffic. So again, I think probably most of you guys know that you need this at this point. You're going to want to lock this pricing in before it ends. Like I said, you can lock these prices in for life. If you get the pro version and you decide later on that you want to upgrade, we will honor the pricing here for you, and we'll honor the price lock on it. So there's no worries if you want to start with the pro and get your feet wet, make sure that it's right for you, and then you want to upgrade, you're perfectly fine to do that. Not a problem. Just send us a support ticket and we can upgrade you, no problem. So site-pop.com/Patrick. That's where you want to go. And then there's one other big objection that we get from this all the time, and that is, why are we giving it away so cheap? And I got to tell you, it's quite self-serving why we would do that. And it's basically to build the network. The more people that we get in, the more devices in the network, the more powerful it becomes, and the better it works for our customers. And you get to ride on the coattails of that because it's going to work for you and it's going to work for your customers as well. So it's pretty simple at this point. You just decide if you want to rank. SitePop is a really, really good tool for you to do that. Again, it's not a magic bullet. It's not going to do everything. You can't throw a site up and do nothing else and just use this. Probably not going to work because it's only a third. It's a piece of the puzzle, but it's the hardest piece for you to get. The other two pieces are simple. Anybody can do those. This is the one that's going to be tough. So back to the final page here in our slide presentation is back to the prices and site-pop.com/Patrick. So that's it. We kind of wrap this up within about an hour. We've got some extra time now. If there's any Q&A or if you guys want to jump back in, if I missed anything, I apologize. I was a little frazzled to get started here because my computer crashed like right when we were starting and I had to restart it. So I was a little discombobulated there in the beginning. So I apologize for that. But this
is John, maybe we can take a minute and answer some questions.
Sure, absolutely.
All right. So I think there are some really great questions that I've been kind of storing up. One of them was, hey, I've got a VPN. Will this work on a VPN, even though it doesn't have location because it is a VPN? And the answer to that is absolutely. You can run these on VPNs. We prefer you not to, but if there's a certain number of VPNs out there that don't have locations on them, it doesn't matter because searches are searches and people search on VPNs all the time. So that's very natural. Of course, we like the location so we can gauge it better and we can do the searches locally. But at the end of the day, it's very natural and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah. Another side note to that too, which is another question we get a lot, is when you're running like those banks of phones that I showed, and you've got a bunch of different phones running out of one IP, is that a problem? And it's absolutely not a problem. There's a lot of places where they have shared office space, and you could literally have hundreds, and if not thousands of different computers all on the same IP running searches all day long. Google is very aware that that's a natural habitat. That's a natural occurring process. So not a problem whatsoever.
Yeah. When I was doing IT for Intel Corporation, all of the traffic for all the locations would go out of a single router. So basically everybody who worked in the company at these locations went out from a single router. So it's very natural. That's just how it works.
Yep.
Now, the next one is, can I use any Android phone? And my answer to that is, yeah, you can use any Android phone as long as it has an operating system of 8.1 or newer. I think we're up to like operating system 14 or something like that. But there's a point where it becomes so outdated, it just won't run, not just our software, but almost any software. So, but we recommend having at least operating system 10 or greater, just so you can, use the phones longer. And another great question is, will this work in other countries? John, you want to tackle that one?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I had showed, we have these devices all over the world now. We have literally clients in every country that you could think of. And so there is devices populated all over the world. Now, some of the other countries are definitely not as populated as the US. The US is, the main part of our market. But if you're in another country, for you to get US searches, that's probably like gold for you. Searches coming out of the US, Google understands, we are the biggest factory of searches there is. So it's definitely not a problem, but you will get searches from your general vicinity that will make it look totally natural. And when we started up, we started and populated this network with about probably 25 to 30 devices. And it populated and actually worked with that low of a number of devices. And one of the areas was we had an agency down in San Diego area, and they started putting it in. And after they got their third customer set up, So basically they had 6 devices plus their own 2. They had 8 devices in the general vicinity, and it started kicking butt right out of the gate. So there's definitely enough devices around all over the world to make this thing work in any country. Not a problem there.
Yeah, in fact, some of the examples that you saw today were from the UK.
Yeah.
This is an example. All right, so some other questions is, so do we still need to keep doing linking and on-page optimization?
Yes, absolutely. Now, on-page optimization is typically a one-shot deal. Once you get your on-page optimization done, you can kind of let that rest. Link building, and again, it's the same thing. It depends on your SEO project. It depends on your competition. If you've got a competitor that is very aggressive and they're actively link building, you're going to have to match that if you want to compete on those particular keywords. If you don't, you just pick different keywords. You can pick longer tail keywords. You can pick buyer specific keywords, which a lot of people miss the boat on that. I see so many people fighting tooth and nail for generic keywords that don't really sell product anyway. And they think that their competitors beating them out. I say if your competitor's making a mistake and spending a ton of money to optimize for generic keywords, let them do it. Let them make that mistake. Let them blow that money, and you take the safe bet, the smart bet, the profitable bet, and go for those keywords.
Right. Next question is, does this show up on Google Analytics?
That is probably a better question for you on that one.
Yeah. So I'll take this one. So these searches absolutely show up on Google Analytics. Now, not 100% of them, because Google Analytics is a best effort and they're the first ones to say it. But the majority, like 90% of them will show up on Google Analytics from our experience. And it's important that when you have customers that look at their Google Analytics, a lot of the times it's you looking at it and not them, because they just don't understand it. But if you have more sophisticated customers that are looking at it, they're going to see a bump in traffic when you do this, because you're going to be sending this traffic there. They just need to know that that bump is being sent by you and should be basically just like discounted from the analytics for real traffic. And then you just kind of gauge everything that way. But you know how many searches you sent to the landing pages or the websites, so you know exactly how to adjust for that. Good question, though.
Yeah. On a side note too, a lot of people don't know this, but Google actually bought Google Analytics from another company. Did you know that, Chris?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Urchin.
Double click,
yeah. It was
or
Urchin.
not double click, but yeah, it's a separate.
Yeah, it was Urchin software. And I was actually one of the first users of Urchin, and it was an incredible tool for SEO because it told you everything. It told you every keyword that somebody came to your site and their path, their click path, everything. And Google saw that and they didn't like that. So they bought it. They bought the entire Urchin company, and they changed the software to Google Analytics so they could remove data. They don't want us to know all the golden nuggets in the data. So it's funny how they do that. And then we get people that say, I'm not seeing all the results. And what they don't realize is they don't realize how much of their own data they're not seeing. They see us and they say, oh, well, you said you sent 500 searches, but I don't see them here. Well, they don't realize they're probably missing a ton of their own stuff that they don't even realize they're missing. So
Yeah, that's
proof.
correct.
It's proof in the pudding that Google is stripping data out of everything.
Yep, they do. And honestly, they do the best that they can to collect as much as they can, because it's in their and our best interests. But it's literally impossible to get everybody. You just can't do it because the internet is so diverse and widespread, and there's so many exceptions and craziness that goes on. And so, but the good thing about it is that it gives you accurate enough results so that you can make business decisions based off of it. And you don't need exact results to make those good business decisions.
Hey, Chris, this is Pat. In the very beginning of the questions, Terry had asked the questions on the sales page. So maybe you want to address that in case somebody else is asking the same thing about the graphics for the Pro. It says up to 5,000 searches per month. Is that a typo is what his question was?
No, that's actually not, because you get 500 searches and it's actually it says 25,000 searches
On the Pro version, on the Pro, not the agent.
Oh, gotcha. No, that's actually correct. 5,000 searches, because you got 10 projects times 500.
Right.
So that's how you get 500 or 5,000 searches. It's across 10 projects.
Right. So each project is 500, and times as many projects as you have is going to give you the total amount of searches per month that you want to do, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So it says up to 5,000. If you're only using one project here, then you're going to get 500. But if you're using all 10, then you can get up to the 500 searches per month. And it's the same thing with the keywords. I said it's 12 keywords per project, up to 12. So if you use all of them across the 10 projects, that's 120 keywords.
So like under the agency, what I'm thinking about doing is adding 3 projects or 4 projects for one company, so I can multiply everything times 4, correct?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. And also in the agency, we give you the ability to actually allocate the searches the way you want. Like you could literally have one project and push 25,000 searches at one project if you wanted to. Whereas the Pro, it's set to 500. So each project is 500. So in the Pro version, if you wanted to do that, you could set up multiple projects for the same customer. So that's
like,
how you do it.
For like my solar business that has 13 franchises, we could actually just do one project for the solar company, but it's 13 different locations. But would that be one project, or would that be 13 of the 50 projects?
It just depends on how many domains. If each of your locations has a different domain, that would be a single project for each one.
Okay.
So the projects are based by the domain.
And I think last time you were chatting a little bit, and we'll get back to some questions here in a second, but how many devices do we need in a location, or is there a maximum, a minimum? I mean, I've had, some people ask me, can I put 20? Can I put 5? What's the ratio?
Okay, sure. And then the devices don't have to be in the same location as the business either. Like if you're an agency and you've got one of your customers is on the other side of the country, you could have the devices running here for them, because it's going to use the devices that's closest to them for the searches. Right. So that's not a problem. Now, as far as how many devices, each device that you can connect an unlimited number of devices on any project.
Okay. Each
one that you connect, you're going to get up to 250 searches per month per device. We recommend, like on the Pro version, we've got it set to 500. So we recommend that you put 2 devices for each project, so you can get the benefit of the 500 searches for each project. Now on the agency, let's say you wanted 1,000 searches for a particular project, you would need 4 devices to accomplish that.
Right. And one of the other questions, that we had that's not on the list, but that was asked of me is, do we need a mobile data plan, or can we just use our Wi-Fi?
Oh, you can absolutely just use Wi-Fi.
So there's no extra cost about picking up devices at $20 at Walmart.
Correct. Yep. I've got a whole rack of them here in my office, and I don't pay any cell service on them. It's just purely Wi-Fi. Right. One of the things that you got to be careful of, though, is if you're like, I've got these, at my house, and a house router isn't like an industrial strength router. So you can't have like 50 devices connected to a router, because it'll only take so many simultaneous connections. So what I got these little repeaters from Amazon, and I usually hook about 5 devices per repeater, and that works perfectly.
So this would work really good for SABs then too, correct?
SAB, what's that?
Service area business, where you
Oh,
don't have
yeah.
a physical location for your GMB.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to do this on the mortgage company because they live on a very, very high traffic road.
Mhm.
And, I was, just put those up in the third floor of the mortgage company and just let them, just zing out over the traffic as they come by every.
Let them do their thing, huh?
Mhm.
That's
Okay, that was the
awesome.
only question that I saw that I wanted to answer because we're getting down towards the end of the messages, and that was one of the very first ones. So I apologize, Chris.
Oh, no worries. All right. Anything else here? I
Yeah,
think.
there's like 23 new messages at the bottom. So
Oh, okay.
whatever
Chris.
Chris wants to tackle.
All right, we should start wrapping this up, but let's go ahead and tackle maybe one or two more questions here that we see that I've seen asked in a couple of different ways. One of them is, let's see, do we work, like what type of devices can we use? And the devices are, you can use desktop devices for both Macintosh and PC, and you can also use Android phones. We have software written for iPhones, but they stopped the ability to run background processes for all apps, not just ours. And so we've had to take that off the shelf because that's what we do. We run it in the background so you don't have to mess around with it. So that's the short version. Let's see if there's some others here. How much time does it take to see the results that you've shown? John, why don't you talk about the timeframes for some of the results that we saw there?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, some of those results were literally 3 days. Obviously, that's not typical and that's not any kind of a guarantee, but it depends. It's like anything in SEO. SEO is like a weird animal. You can do one thing for one customer and the same thing for another, and they get different results and different timeframes. So there's no way to really speculate on how fast something's going to move. But when you do this the way we show you how to do it, you use traction keywords, we see fast results with traction keywords. And when I say fast results, it's anywhere from 3 days to 30 days typically. Now, sometimes, obviously, some take longer. There's no way really for us to say in any certainty, like for any given keyword, hey, this is how long it's going to take for this keyword.
Some really important factors that are involved with that is, do you already have a presence on Google? Do they trust you? Do you have some authority? As far as like, have you been doing some linking? Do you have on-page optimization done? Does Google know and trust you? Maybe not trust you enough to put you on page 1, but at least trust you to rank you at all, like even on page 3 or 4. That makes a big difference. And then second of all, is it a local keyword or is it a national keyword? And so sometimes there's always a lot of questions, and we're not going to get into it now because it's a little complicated, but not super complicated, but it requires some discussions. You can understand the process, which we do in the trainings. But for national keywords, obviously you need more searches than you need for local keywords. And we'll tell you the percentages of what those searches are, so you understand like how many to perform and what you need to do for those national keywords that could be important for some of your customers.
Chris or John, why don't you talk a little bit about the training and what's going to be provided for everybody, please?
Okay. Yeah. Inside of our members area, like once you sign up, you'll get instant access to that. You'll get all the trainings that we've done to date, which there's quite a few of them in there. I've done one specifically on agency selling. There's several on best practices. There's almost every one of the trainings that we've ever done. We go through the general SEO process, like what is required, what's needed. stuff that is not necessary, stuff that is necessary. Like, I talked about this earlier, a ton of link building is not necessary anymore. You are better off to hunt down a couple of really good links that's going to give you traffic. And we've never done this before, but I talked to Chris this morning about this, and I think this is important, that we're going to add a resource guide into the training area for everybody that shows like where we get our links, like good sources to get good quality links. Because that's almost a mystery to most people in this business at this point.
Well, you're dealing with a group of people here who pretty much do this every day for their business and understand that. And at the Ranking Factory, we have developed the backlink factory of the Google links that we provide as well.
Perfect.
So one of the things that we're going to do for everybody here who doesn't have backlink factory or whatever as a special bonus is, we're going to run 100 links a month for everybody, for whatever keywords that they want for anybody that picks up that doesn't have backlink factory. And backlink factory is based on Google only links. No other company but Google provides the links through our process. So we only provide Google backlinks. So it's pretty
awesome
powerful stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool.
We're going to give everybody a little bonus for doing that. For those of you who don't have it or run that every day of our crew, which most everybody in here probably has backlink factory. That's part of our organization, but it's always great to have diversification. So that's cool.
We should talk to you about that offline, about offering that to the rest of our members.
We can do that.
That would be incredible.
So we're good there. I mean, we have so many good questions here. One of the things that what we could do maybe as a follow-up is I will copy all these questions down that we don't get to, Chris, and maybe we could just do an answer. And then for the people that are here, we could send out an email with the answers to a lot of these questions.
That's a super great idea. Great.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't even be opposed to doing a webinar for everybody, and we could go through those and then open it up to live questions.
Okay. Well, when do you want to do it?
I could do that just about any time, really.
Okay. Everybody put in the chat, you want to do it this week yet, or can we wait till next week? Give me a 1 for this week or 2 for next week, because Gary and I still are dealing with COVID, so I'm not real sure how much.
Yeah, let's actually plan on next week. That way, everybody that gets in through the weekend will be up and running and ready for it.
Okay. Yeah, everybody says next week sometime. So we've got the list. Okay, Chris, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. And we'll go ahead and I'll copy the questions. I'll send over the questions, John, to you, and then we can have those and do another webinar next week. And we'll, even for the people that don't possibly pick it up between now and Saturday, if they come on the webinar next week for the Q&A, we can maybe extend something just to those people, right?
Okay, sure. Yeah, we could do that. No problem.
So anyway, Chris, thanks for all the answers to the questions. I know I tried to answer some as well, but this isn't my program. I just know that I'm excited about using it, and I've seen some of the results and some of the people that do use it, and I think the price is right, for all of us. And here's the thing, and I'll let us go after this, and that is just within the 2 or 3 customers that I've been able to talk about and set this up for. I have to admit, I'm a little cheesy, and I actually went out and bought the phones. Okay, so I actually for my mortgage company, I went and bought 10 phones. That's $200. That's a very small investment to get over the, well, I don't know. I said, well, don't worry about it. I'll just go buy the phones, and we'll come and we'll set them up, and let's see how it goes. So with a little bit of the price that we have here, and just buying the phones because they are so cheap, $20-25 a pop, depending upon how many you want. It's a great deal to walk in there and utilize that and say, don't worry about the price. And it was a little bit more expensive for the solar company because they have 13 franchises, but that's 13 franchises that are going to be paying us for SEO and backlinking and Google My Business linking and Google ads and everything else. So it's well worth the time. And I kind of go back to our buddy Terry Powers here. And Chris, one of the things that at the very beginning of Ranking Factory that, he would do is he would actually, go out and talk to people and take them out to lunch and say, this is what we do. Can you be my customer or client? And I'm paraphrasing the whole story. And he said, but I can't have you as a client unless I have a contract. So he would charge him $1 for the ranking services that he was going to do. He just charged him $1. So now they're a client legitimately. He could do it. And so he'd come back, and have lunch with them. I believe I could have this story screwed up a little bit, but a month later and show them the results and, the agreement that they made when he got $1. And if I could do this for $1, how much would you pay me? 15, 2,000 a month, whatever the number was. If I come back and show you that it actually works, then, he would come back, take him out to lunch again and show him the results. And that's how he, built a lot of his business. I don't know if Terry's on here or not, but he might still be, but that's the essence of the story. And so I learned from that in terms of what I do, so I think it's a good way to go spend a little bit of money. You've got the agency, you can, it's not going to cost you anything to do it. You already have it. So, just go pick up a couple phones, put them in a couple places, let them run for a month, come back and show the results and get a new client. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
We've had some great people in our organization. We have awesome people, and they're all pros at what they do. And but even though we are all pros, we're all looking for ways to do something different that will work, that is not illegal. And we're not driving around the city with 200 phones in our trunk. Not that anybody would do that, but I'm just saying, we don't need to, do those types of games. But I'm excited. I mean, when I saw this, 3 weeks ago, like, yeah, I can use the heck out of this. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, cool.
You got it pretty. Oh, Terry says you got it pretty much, Patrick. Okay, well, all right. Thanks, Terry. I do listen, that tells you that I do listen to everything that everybody tells us, and it's all good. So, okay. Anybody that doesn't have or is here that's not part of Ranking Factory, just on this replay or bonus, we're going to do 100 links a month for you, Google links through a backlink program. And I know Gary probably would have a shit fit, but it's okay. He's got COVID and won't remember it. So we're going to do it anyway. So just remember when we have a training or whatever, Chris, to remind me, because I was talking to Todd earlier and I can't remember what I was talking to Todd about because my brain's fried from this COVID shit. So I don't really know, but it'll all work out. Everybody that's here, thank you for being here. This is worth it. And if you find that it's not, there's no commitment. It's not like recurring commitment. If you don't like it, you can just stop the payment. That's all there is to it, right? Let's see. I'm just going to look at a couple last questions, Chris, and then we'll kind of bail out here. I mean, John, because Chris had to leave. See, I don't even know what I'm talking to anymore.
No problem.
Being able to get in at the pro and being locked into agency down the road is what sold me. LOL. Well, that, and I just learned about NLP and buyer intent keywords, right? So very cool. Richard, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I think you already showed that this will work on Amazon affiliate links to products as well, right?
Yes. Yep. It works on Amazon, YouTube, Bing, Google, and GMB now.
Okay. All right. Any last, technical questions that we can delve into? We're here, hour and 33 minutes. And, one of the things that, John, just for you, from the statistical perspective, that we only had 10% of the entire audience, drop off 10 minutes ago after you had presented, the price. So everybody was here the whole time.
Oh,
And I
cool.
think that's always a good testament to those that are presenting, information to us, products to us, that, they really are intent in listening and trying to learn what you're trying to teach them. And I'm excited about learning more and more and more about this through the training programs and whatnot. So I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to helping everybody get the desired results they're looking for.
All righty. Let's see. One last.
Oh, and one more thing I wanted to share with you guys we didn't cover in the training, and this is again part of our beta pricing. We're rolling out the next app that we roll out. Right now, you can only put one project code in a device. But what we're going to roll out is the next version, which I don't know if it's going to be this next week or the week after, or it's sometime in the very near future. You will be able to run multiple projects on the same device. And
Really? Okay.
yeah, when I say that, you can't run multiple Google projects, but you could run like a Google, a Bing, a YouTube, an Amazon, and a GMB all off of the same phone.
Cool.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
Well, I'm just going to maybe have to just go buy stock in Walmart or something. Who knows? Right?
Yeah, I loaded up a last Christmas. They were doing their Christmas special, and they had the phones for I think they were $19.95, and I got a whole shopping basket full.
So Brenda's asking, so to have multiple projects, I would need multiple phones right now, correct?
Correct. Yes. That is absolutely correct.
Okay. Well, at $20, it's not a big deal, or 25. Mike says, love the way you guys keep with expanding the features and the platform. He says, thank you.
Yeah. We've actually been doing this since, most people don't realize this, but we've been running this program since 2010.
Yeah, I know. I remember it. And John, that the last time I saw this, I asked halfway through this, I said in the chat, Chris, is this Site Pop, the old Site Pop that didn't work for very much, very long? And he like, yeah, it is, but it's not that anymore. So,
yeah, we originally called it Rainmaker.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I had it for a little bit.
Yeah.
But now it's all different. Everything progresses, right?
Yeah.
Everything progresses and gets better.
Yeah. Well, we keep up on it. I mean, it's to our benefit because we use this on all of our clients. It's the only thing. We wouldn't be alive today if it weren't for this. We'd be out of SEO altogether if it wasn't for this.
Well, that's a pretty singular focus. I mean, there's a lot of ways of doing SEO, but you found one that works for you. I love this question, right? Don Phelps asked this question. Don, you're a master of trying to figure out who's deceiving you. His question is this live?
This is live.
Is this live? And I replied, yes, great trick question. So, but I mean, it's in many cases, a lot of these are just replays, and I don't do
well, actually, Don, it's live until the replay.
Yeah, until the replay. So, all righty. I'll let everybody roll. Thank you. If you are going to participate with us with this, just go ahead and put one in the chat, or a two if you're thinking about it and gonna participate. Felix just came in. Randy, Richard, Brenda has it. George, cool, very cool, guys. And then what we're gonna do along with this is add a bunch of little things along the way for other products that we have in Backlink Factory, just to keep things boosted up, and on top of the page and everything else that we can do as far as those backlinks were concerned. Chris, that you were John, you were talking about. So
yeah, awesome.
Be happy to talk to you about that. But anyway, thanks guys for being here. We're $1:38 right now. I'm going we'll try to be in an hour, and I just appreciate y'all being here. And you know how to get a hold of us if you're in Ranking Factory, either Gary, Rod, or myself. And the replay going to be sent out today. You know, I'm gonna answer this question, Felix, to you in this fashion. I hope so. And the reason that I hope so is I can't remember right now when I set this webinar up in the middle of my brain dizziness that I hit the replay button, but I'm pretty sure I did.
You did. It's actually, I see it's recording right now.
Oh, well, okay. See there? This COVID's got me like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So it's kind of cool because I'm not responsible for anything that I do say or don't say.
Yep, you're recording to the cloud, so it'll be in the cloud.
I see the button up there, and I know it's up there. So, all right, guys, thanks a lot. Have a great day. John, appreciate you, buddy.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure.
All right. See you guys.